guys, what's up and welcome back to another video. As for the scent of the day, I have my little Amazon candle. There's only a little bit left in here, so I'm just trying to get the last bit of use out of this one. It is so good that I'm not going to waste any bit of it. If you are new to my channel, then I would just love for you to take a moment, subscribe, and also hit that notification bell so you will never miss anything interesting. And also, I do post every single day on Instagram and on Reddit, so if you're a person that likes updated content, be sure to go give me a follow. So yeah, guys, I got the spectacles on today. I just actually filmed a TikTok video. And let me tell you, I've done TikTok for a long time, and I usually upload the same videos to Instagram Reels. And if there's anything I want to get better at, it's my consistency on both those platforms. I always tell myself I'm going to do it, and then I never end up doing it. But I actually did one today, so I'm proud of myself. Other than that, it's been a pretty slow day around here. I did go up to Kroger earlier and get a ton of snacks for the house. And I also did get some pizzas for tonight. Even though it's not pizza night, I said, what the hell? So if you're new to my Sunday videos, they're always the same thing. I do a tutorial and an in-depth review on a particular palette. So for this week, we're going to use this one from Unicorn Cosmetics, and this is called the Angel palette. If you've watched my most recent haul, you'll notice that this is the one that I just picked up from Beauty Bay. And I really didn't do any extended research on this. This is just something that I picked up on a whim because it really intrigued me. So if you want to find out how to create a cool look with it, stay around for the tutorial. And if you want to hear more of my opinionated thoughts on this, make sure you stick around for the second half of this video, which is the in-depth review. But quickly, I want to show you what the inside of this looks like so you'll get an idea of what we're going to be using. So here's what this beauty looks like. It's a very rainbow-esque palette, but it's kind of offshoots of the normal true defined colors. And there's also some really fun pastels in here too, which I always like that as a good blend out shade. The look that we're going to be doing today is called a bent cut crease, and it's pretty much just like a regular cut crease except you add a little bent shape to it. It's really fun, I think it looks really cute, and it's a good way to show what this palette's capable of. So if you're ready to dig into this palette and see what it can do, then let's get started with the tutorial. Okay guys, before we get started, I just wanted to tell you that it takes me forever to put up the groceries, and my cat is over here in the plastic bags right now, just having a good old time. So if you hear crunching, crinkling bags, that is my cat. Okay guys, let's get right into this. I already did some prep on my eyes, but I didn't do my tight line yet, so I'm just going to go in with a dark green tight line for my top waterline. So to build the foundation of this look, I'm going to start with two brushes. I'm going to take a detail brush and then a dome blending brush. So with that detail brush, I'm going to go into the dark green shade called Thorn first. And I'm going to apply this slightly above my crease, all the way around my eye. And now once the outline's done, I'm just going to go ahead and completely fill in this center part. The next step is to gently buff out these edges. And again, detail brush, I'm going into the second green shade, which is called Sweet Pea. And I'm carefully going to put this around the entire edge. And then I'm going to gently buff out this next green shade. And now this time I'm going to skip the detail brush and just keep going in with my original blending brush and go into the shade called Heavenly. And I'm going to gently buff this around the edge. Now grab whatever eye base you want to use because it's time to cut the crease. And at this point, we're not going to do anything special. We're just going to do it like normal. So once you're happy with your cut crease shape, now we're gonna go in and draw the little bent mark. Now it's time to fill this in. So I'm gonna go into that blue shimmer shade called Cupid, and I'm just going to fill in this entire shape. Okay, so I left the front open because we're gonna go in with a different shade for that. But right now we're gonna blend in this edge. So I'm gonna take a mixture between the dark green and the brown, and I'm gently going to pat that into this area right here. Now I'm gonna go in with this dark green shimmer, and I'm going to blend that on the edge. Now for the front, I'm going to take the bright purple shimmer, and I'm just going to apply this to this little front section. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my waterline color, which is just a neon green. And with that original detail brush, I'm going to go into the shade called Sweet Pea once more. And I'm going to do my entire lower lash line with this. And then with that fluffy blending brush, go into the shade called Paradise. And we're going to gently buff this underneath that green. And lastly, I'm going to take the shade called Angel, and I'm going to put this in my inner corner. So now I'm going to throw on some mascara, and then we'll see what it looks like when it's all done. And here's what the finished eye looks like with mascara on. But I think it's a cute look, and it definitely matches my shirt, so I'm all good for that. But why don't we just move right into part 2, which is the in-depth review. Alright guys, so here's a quick look at the exterior of the palette. And again, this is by Unicorn Cosmetics, and it's called the Angel palette. When you open it up, there's a mid-sized mirror inside. And then inside you do get 26 different shades, and the big pans weigh 2.60 grams, and the small half pans weigh 1.30 grams. So either way you look at it, you're getting an astronomical amount of shadow per pan. So in here, there are only 2 types of formulas. There's 17 mattes and 9 shimmers. The matte formula in here actually really impressed me. It's really nice for making gradients or doing layering with it. If I ended up with some harsh lines, I was very easily able to blend them away. And the mattes in here are more of a buildable formula in lieu of being directly pigmented. So that way you're very easily able to control and manage where and how you place the shadows. Now, as far as the shimmer formula in here, these shimmers are very chunky. Some of them in here lack a definitive base pigment, which makes them harder to use. And if you want a very uniform application with these shimmers, you have to really work at it. And something that the brand noted is that in order to get the most maximum performance out of each shimmer, you're supposed to scratch off the top layer. And now let's get into the routine data check. And these are just a series of questions that I ask myself about any palette that I review, regardless of which one it is. So the first one, I like to look at its formula, and this one in particular is not clarified as being a clean formula. Next, I like to look at its cruelty-free status, and this palette is indeed cruelty-free. Next, I like to look at if it's vegan, and this palette is also vegan. And last, I like to locate and find the expiration date on the palette, and this one has a low 12-month PAO and is located on the back of the palette. So now we're going to get into my favorite part of the video, which is always the cost evaluation. So if you went out and bought this palette as it is right now, it would cost you $21.30. Breaking that down a little bit comes to 82 cents per shade, and breaking that down a little bit further, it costs 46 cents per gram. So comparing this palette to similar products available on the market, the price per shade is excellent. And additionally, this palette has an extremely affordable cost per gram as compared to other palettes I've previously reviewed. So if there's anything special that I find about a palette, I always like to mention it here, just so we can learn more about its inspiration or anything like that. And the first thing I wanted to tell you is that this is a UK-based brand. And something else very interesting is that the palette exterior box and the cover look dramatically different. But the cover actually features UV spots on it, so if you took a UV light to it, it would really look cool. I'm not sure if the palette does it, but it says the exterior box does it for sure. And something that the brand mentioned is that they put all the most used classic shades as the big pans, and then they tried to implement the really interesting shades as the split pans. And lastly, the brand made a special note to let you know that this palette is not privately labeled. So for the last part of this video, we're going to get into my personal recommendation. So upon using this palette, I did not get any patching and I did not get any creasing. I got both a significant level of kickback in the pans from all the shades that I use, as well as some fallout on my face. But if you're currently in the market for this specific palette, I'm kind of in the middle about recommending it. There's a few things where I would recommend it and there's a few things where I wouldn't recommend it. So I'm going to give you my 3 reasons as to why I'm currently in the middle. My first reason is that the mattes in here are super easy to work with. And considering this is a very matte heavy palette, most of the shades that you're going to confront in here are going to be very easy to use. And we all want a palette that's going to work in our favor. Now the second reason, and this is kind of a negative reason, but this is not a beginner friendly palette. In order to get a look out of this color story, you need to have 2 things. You need to have intent and you need to have time. So if you have both of those things available to you, you might end up really liking this. But I do not think that this is a palette that you can just open it up, pick any shade, create a look, and be out the door. This requires work and it requires thought. Especially when we're talking about the shimmers, those definitely need some finessing. And my last reason is that you are getting a massive amount of product in here for a dirt cheap price. And I just felt like I had to mention that. I was impressed when I found out the weight of each shadow. Even the split pans alone are more than an average shadow. And looking at the cost breakdown at this, I was just shocked at what a good deal this is. So essentially, I'm really looking forward to using this more. And this was my first introduction into the brand. And now I'm really intrigued to see what other types of products that they have. So yeah, guys, that was my entire video for today. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. And if you did, please give me a giant thumbs up. And if you didn't like it, hit that thumbs down button. And until next time, bye. Smokey, we can't be doing this. We can't be crinkling all these bags, sweetheart. Oh, sigh. And now once I get the outline done, I'm just gonna go ahead and Trey, did you spray the garden today?
No.
Okay. She's just trying to get a little hot dog.
Are you loafing until I give you something?
Is she doing full loaf?
Yeah. Just sitting there looking at me.
Or is she in semi-loaf?
No, she's loafing. Right on my mouth pad.
I have to see this. And now this time I'm gonna, Trey, what movie are you watching?
Hmm?
What movie is that?
Margin call.
What's it about?
Stocks.
Oh. Uh-oh.